This video is brought to you by Manshaver. You've tried the lawnmower. Now, try the weed puller. Rip those hairs out by the roots. Actually, it's brought to you by my Patreon. Support the habit at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. This is Musical Autopsy. It's time for Doc Buckley to make his way to the musical morgue to slice up a song or artist. And today, we have a first-timer on the table. You might be surprised by that, given that this man has spent the better part of a decade being equally loved and despised by music fans on the internet. It's Ed Sheeran and his latest hit, Bad Habits.
Every time you come around, you know I can't say no. Every time the sun goes down, I let you take control.
Oh shit, our biggest fears have been realized. Ed Sheeran is an otherkin. Every night the sun goes down, the moon comes out, and he surrenders himself to his wolfkin side, destined to head down to his local pub to howl at a toad in the hole. The kids calling him the ginger lycanthrope of London.
My bad habits lead to late nights, sitting alone, conversations with a stranger I barely know.
Is this something you want to admit in a song? You know, it's a song. You can just make up whatever the hell you want. But even in his own songs, he's not getting laid. So in reverse, his bad habits, his drinking and drugs and partying, lead him to going out, chatting up people he doesn't know very well, and then going home alone? Imagine telling that story to your mates. Oh man, last night I got so wasted, I talked to a bunch of birds at the bar and then I couldn't get any of them to fuck me, even though I'm international pop star Ed Sheeran. So I went home and jerked off to reruns of the Great British Bake Off. Oh, I'd like to taste that Prue's croquembouche, if you know what I mean.
Swearing this will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose or use, or do my bad habits lead to...
Does anyone think of Ed Sheeran as this guy? The guy who's done every drug known to man? I find this hard to believe, given A, how he looks. Although a lot of his tattoos look like he must have been on something when he was like, oh yeah, I want a lion on my chest, a Heinz ketchup label on my arm, the three-eyed fish from The Simpsons on my left tit, and you know what? Just cover me in as much bullshit as you can think of, and I'll make up meanings for it all later. And B, the fact that he lives in the UK is extremely famous, and the British tabloids haven't caught him once puking in an alleyway or in some sort of scandal involving an underage fan, a gimp mask, and a strap-on. The British tabloids literally murdered royalty to get a picture of her. They don't have one compromising photo of Ed Sheeran, given apparently his hedonistic lifestyle. But the idea that he has nothing left to lose is pretty absurd. 8 top 10 hits, 3 #1 albums, massive stadium tours worldwide, a wife and kid, what appear to be most of his original teeth. Dude needs to go to an AA meeting or a methadone clinic or something to see what rock bottom really looks like. Because it ain't going to the bar and going home alone, or going out and getting some poorly drawn puzzle pieces added to your collection of garbage tattoos.
My bad habits lead to white eyes stare into space, and I know I lose control of the things that I say.
Oh wait, now I get it. Lost everything, gets so drunk he can't control what he says anymore. He's not singing about himself. This is a song where he's cosplaying as Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, I was looking for a way out, now I can't escape. Nothing happens after 2. It's true, my bad habits lead to you.
And here we get to it. The you he's referring to is, of course, himself. The dark side of himself that comes out when he's ingested too many of the party favors. But what is the dark side? The second verse doesn't make this any clearer, saying that every pure intention ends when the good times start and that he's fallen over everything to reach the first time spark, trying to recreate that feeling of the first time he got drunk or high. But this is so cliched. It's almost like he's never actually woke up in the gutter or a stranger's house 300 miles away or jail. According to Genius, he claims that he wanted to stop partying so that he'd be ready to take his pregnant wife to the hospital. Noble cause, but was that really your breaking point? Oh, what if I was too drunk my wife had to call a cab or an ambulance? I just picture some former meth head with 3 teeth left who used to blow people for just enough money to get through another day, passing out under a bridge and waking up covered in raccoon bites, seeing this and going, oh man, that would be bad if you got so messed up that you couldn't drive your car you own to take your wife who still loves you from the $1 million house you purchased with the money you earned from your superstar career to a hospital that won't treat you like a junky bag of shit. Oh, that truly would be the worst thing in the world. Musically, the song is pretty boring. It starts out all minimalist, and then you're like, oh man, it's building to something.
My bad habits lead to
Only for it to be a big tease. When it gets to the first part of the chorus, it's just bass.
late nights, sitting alone, conversations with a stranger I barely know.
Then halfway through the chorus, the producer's like, ah shit, we're a minute into this song. What if maybe we finally add some instrumental in here too?
To white eyes stare into space, and I know I lose control of the things that I say.
And of course, we find out just why songs are trending shorter, as this one's nearly 4 minutes with zero reason to be that long. The only non-repeating part of the song are the 2 verses, which are 4 lines each. That eats up about 40 seconds of the runtime. The remaining 3 minutes and change is just a repeating chorus and some other fluff.
Nothing happens after 2. It's true, my bad habits lead to you.
But maybe it's supposed to be boring. Maybe Ed Sheeran is trying to make it sound really bland. Oh, nothing happens after 2 a.m. You just wind up going home alone and not really liking yourself, waking up with a hangover and making boring music, trying to make partying sound uncool lyrically and musically so people won't make the same mistakes that he did. The hilarious part of this, though, is that this song, number 2 on the charts, upbeat enough that a DJ will play it, or at least a remix of it, will almost definitely be playing in nightclubs. So you'll have a bunch of 20-somethings all dancing and partying and doing coke in the bathroom to a song about how you shouldn't go out and dance and party and do coke in a bathroom. Well, geez Louise. Oh, I sure hope this doesn't send Ed Sheeran spiraling back down to that hedonistic lifestyle of heading to the bar, having 8 craft beers, unsuccessfully hitting on women, and heading home with his limp dick in his hand, waking up with a hangover in his own bed. How could he ever live with himself? This is Musical Autopsy. Bag it and tag it.